You must have had a great family. No?
Oh yeah, well into my 20s.
Well into your 20s. Now, how many of women did the same thing?
Yeah.
You thought all your life, this is what I must do just in case somebody comes to the door.
My dad was blind too, so I asked him to kind of watch out for him, and I've had, scary dreams where we'd be wandering and I'd have to go get him.
Well, I've got to tell you, this is surprising for me, but I think that's why you're sitting here. Because you have dealt with it to some degree. Usually, I find that it's more the men that have dealt with the idea, the notion that they have to be defensive, they have to protect, they've got this role in life that they've got to do this and that, so they're premeditating it whether it ever happens. I've only ever had 2 fights in my life, and I lost both. The first one, a guy knocked me down and kicked me in the mouth. The second one, a guy ran me over with his car a couple times. Now, I've had fights in dojos and never lost any of those, but it wasn't at a time when I was angry. So all that premeditation was unnecessary. You mature, you grow up, and you realize, why do we? It's part of our biological mechanism. It's a part of our defensive mechanism. And as soon as we lose trust when we're 1, 2, 3 years old, we start thinking about having to raise ourselves. Because we've lost it. We can't rely on anyone. That's where we lose our trust. Yes?
My nephew that I brought in last week that was 9.5, I asked him the other day, I said, a situation is going on between divorced parents of his and stuff, and I said, I just want to let you know that I want to support you, that I'm behind you. He says, I don't want your support. I says, well, do you want the support of your mother or your grandmother or your father? No, I don't want their support. I said, well, who's going to support you? He said, I'm going to support myself.
He's in charge of his life.
I said, that's really nice. I said, that's great. I says, but don't you want someone kind of behind you in case? Nope.
Yeah.
He's learned at this point that he's the only one that's going to be there when he needs him.
And there's another lesson coming his way later on, and that is that we do need each other.
Yeah.
We don't need to take advantage of each other. We don't need to use anyone as a means to our own ends. But we do depend, and we are interconnected. We do need each other. And it would just be nice if we did it the appropriate way. But you're right, feeling threatened can cause a person to take steps that lead them to those kinds of conclusions, and there are a set of standard conclusions that follow. Yes?
I don't recall thinking about it. It's just when there was an animal in danger, even when I was 2 years old.
Yes.
I mean, it was just automatic for me to try to protect underdogs, or even if my father and mother just horseplaying around, she'd get hurt, I'd get furious and want to protect her. It's just something I didn't think about. I just
compassion.
did.
That's compassion. You didn't think it out. You didn't do it for yourself. No second thought, spontaneity. That makes you a compassionate, moral, humble person. Is it true? You've lived with her how many years?
Yes.
So she cares, and she doesn't stop caring. She's like, ever ready, bunny? Never stop caring? Always there? Okay. I think a lot of people here have those same kinds of drives, ambitions, aspirations. How many of you have reached out to help somebody that was in trouble or needed a hand? And how many of you done it in recollect? You go back and you think in hindsight, did I do that because I once needed help, once wanted help? Or is it just spontaneous because I noticed? And did you notice because you had suffered yourself? It seems to me that it takes a little bit of pain to get a little bit of compassion, to get a little bit of wisdom. And it seems to me that compassion and wisdom are growing at the same time. One doesn't outgrow the other. Yes, Robert?
I think there's also there's a different reality about real or imagined type stuff. Because I was threatened every day at school. I paid a kid protection money, or he would beat the crap out of me. My last name is Farland, and I was called Fartland all the time and made fun of. So I mean, there's a difference between thinking about it and being on the front line.
And that's what makes you today the most insightful in your group, in your peer group, because you went through that. We look back at our experience and we think over the years, that was very beneficial, but not then. We didn't think of that. We know it now. This is where we got the rudiments, the fundamental experiences of our life. This is where we face the basic tests of our daily resolve. In order for us to get up and go to school the next day, feeling threatened as much as we were, as nervous as we were, we still had to meet the demand. So in spite of it, feeling frightened, we still went. And that takes courage, that in spite of the fact you're frightened to death, you still go forward. Courage is the word that describes that venture. And with that, there's another role to play in life. Beyond courage, you get into compassion, and it opens up to a variety of different experiences that lead to enlightenment. It's guaranteed that if you have any compassion for anyone beyond yourself, then you're on the road to enlightenment. If you haven't got enough compassion for anyone yet, then you're still learning it, and that's okay. It'll come your way. But maybe there's a reason why you haven't had to suffer. As Robert said, some of us have it by thought. We imagine the potential threats in our life that we might have to deal with, and grew up as young boys thinking this is the way to be a man. And others actually experienced it every day in their life and knew how that was and how different that is. So that as we get older, we look out amongst the group of people that we see in front of us, and we can determine a lot about them. Each and every day, we have to resolve our experience. And a lot of our experiences are related to that word, threat. Let me go a little bit further with this. When is it that you don't feel threatened? Think about it. When you're not.
When I'm asleep.
Are you sure? No one chasing you in your dreams?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. When is it you feel the least threatened? When you're alone? No. When? Pardon? Anybody? You ever notice when you're not feeling threatened, why you are in that state? Trust.
She was saying when you're in love.
In love, yeah. If you're with a person, you're in love. There's no judgment until you feel threatened. So the love is flourishing. A week of it, no judgments, you're still deeply in love. A month goes by, you don't judge your companion for anything. And it gets deeper and deeper, and you think, my God, this is incredible. This is perfect love. As long as you don't judge. 3 months go by, and now you know you've found the perfect person. Everything's great, but he leaves his socks on the floor. You don't mind picking him up for a couple weeks or a couple months. You don't mind doing the laundry and cooking. You don't mind the role playing. Until it gets to be a habit. And then once you start thinking, this is a habit, that's the moment you betray your own love. That's the minute you start to lose interest in the person you're with. You don't realize it, but you lose interest each and every time you make a judgment. The slightest little criticism, it could be, he doesn't know how to color coordinate his socks. He's wearing a blue one and a green one tonight. I saw him eating with his left hand out of the plate. He didn't comb his hair before he came to dinner. I've got company coming over and he's off doing something else. He's this, he's that. He's disrespectful. As soon as we make the slightest little judgment, we think when we were younger, because we had siblings and we criticized each other and laughed about it, that as you get older, nobody's going to lose interest in you just because you're being critical. Wrong. Everyone loses interest in you. True. How many of you lost a relationship because of what I'm saying? There's somewhere along the line, the judgments got into it. It led to more criticism. Yes. And the criticism led to an impasse. We couldn't figure out what it was that caused us to lose interest. But as I said, when you feel threatened, in that same moment, the next word, reaction. And the reaction is self-defense. It's on an unconscious level. You got to remember, this happened when your mother, you were yelling for your food one day, you were 3 months old, and she didn't get there fast enough. It's true. You wailed all night, and she wanted to teach you to go to sleep, and so the doctor said, let them cry, otherwise you'll break their will now, they'll break you. So you let them cry all night. A week later, the kid's got an ego. And he's yelling, and he's mad at you, and he's No, it takes time. But that's when it starts. When we lose our sense of security.